It doesn't get any bigger than homecoming week at Saluki Stadium, except when you're hosting the #1 team in the country and on a 20-game winning streak. It's the 12th-ranked Salukis and the #1 South Dakota State Jackrabbits. Alongside Mike Trude, I am Luke Martin. Mike, it doesn't get any bigger than this opportunity ahead of the Salukis, and let's just say South Dakota State is very deserving of that #1 ranking, being the defending national champions.
Yeah, they have a tremendous football team. John Stiegelmeier did not leave the cupboard bare for Jimmy Rogers coming in as the new head coach. National champions a year ago, but this squad may actually be even better than the one that won it all a year ago.
There are only 2 quarterbacks in the Valley that have beaten every team in the league at least one time. They play each other on Saturday, and Nick Baker and Mark Gronowski. What makes Gronowski so special, knowing he's only lost one game that he's completely started at the FCS level?
Well, it helps to have the people around him as well. He's not winning games by himself, but he can make all the plays. He is a smart quarterback, 1 interception all year long, just really good at recognizing the defenses, running their schemes, and making the key plays when he has to. And they are very rarely in tough situations on a football field.
Isaiah Davis, Amar Johnson, and Angel Johnson. What a 3-headed monster they have in the backfield. Isaiah Davis's outcoming party was really here. He had 150 yards and 3 touchdowns in that spring game where the Jackrabbits had no issues. That's a 3-man lethal running attack.
And when you have 3 guys and your #1 guy is averaging right at almost 100 yards per game, that speaks volumes of what the other 2 are giving you. So there's no easy back to tackle, and Isaiah Davis is just one of those special guys who we've watched for the last few years just dominate opposing defenses.
And look, they had tremendous skill, but up front, they call themselves the 605 Hogs. Their left side of that offensive line in McCormick and Greenfield, they have started together 47 consecutive games in a row.
First-team All-Americans as well. 2 of 4 All-Americans on the first team that South Dakota State brings into this football game. They've got 8 overall, and we know there's NFL draft picks playing in the game for them on Saturday afternoon. Just a complete football team, but can they be beat? Sure.
Jimmy Rogers, he was their defensive coordinator. He doesn't call the plays like Ryan Beard still does from Missouri State. Man, you mentioned the cupboard not being bare. This is South Dakota State defense. You count this year and their last 2 seasons, plus 37 in turnover margin. They find ways to turn the football over, even though this year those numbers aren't as high as they have been, leading the country in interceptions the last 2 years.
Yeah, they've got 5 interceptions this year. They're not loaded with sacks this year, but they're still one of the most dominating defenses in the country. And it's really, really tough to get big chunk plays against them because they play such a solid defense, and their linebackers and their secondary are really special people.
And you mentioned the lack of sack numbers, but a lot of that has to do with they have so much trust on the back end of their defense.
Yeah, Jimmy Rogers says, if you do what you're supposed to do as we have practiced, as we have learned, then we don't have to sack the quarterback. We can hurry him, we can get pressure, but we don't actually have to hit the quarterback because you all are doing what you're supposed to be doing.
South Dakota State comes into Saluki Stadium, a place where they have never lost. They are 5-0 all-time. They are the last Valley team to remain unbeaten here at Saluki Stadium. And the last 2 games, Mike Trude, they have really dominated here at Saluki Stadium, scoring 44 and 57 points their last 2 games. How do the Saluki Dogs get it done on Saturday?
Well, the defense in those 2 games is nothing like the Saluki defense this year. #1 against the rush in all of FCS football. The Saluki linebackers, the 4 of them, I'll group them as a foursome, have just been dominant. They're probably the top leading tacklers of all linebacking crews in the Valley this year, with South Dakota State just a notch right behind. And then our secondary has been special. We've got 8 interceptions on the year, 3 guys with 2. They're good in man coverage. So the Saluki defense has got to step up and keep Southern in this football game.
And can the offense get the gears going? Nick Baker's gone 9 quarters now where he hasn't thrown a passing touchdown. Be good to see that offense have some explosive plays.
Yes, as we talked to Nick earlier this week, he feels that the offense is getting there. Is it there yet? maybe we'll know something different on Saturday. But the return of Deontay Cox has got to be helpful. Now you've got a guy on either side that Nick is so comfortable with in the passing game, and Isaiah Hartrip on the other side. And then, of course, he's got his tight ends that he likes to throw to, and Justin Strong had a nice game against Murray. The offense is capable. We had an offensive lineman win the Offensive Lineman of the Week. So maybe it is all starting to come together, and there would be no better time than for it all to accumulate Saturday afternoon, right around 2 o'clock.
Well, it's quiet right now here at Saluki Stadium. It will not be quiet tomorrow. Come on out to Saluki Stadium, as it will be a fantastic afternoon for football. Homecoming, honoring the 1983 National Tile Team, which goes into the Hall of Fame later on tonight in Banterra Center. For my partner, Mike Trude, I am Luke Martin. We will talk to you all tomorrow on Game Day. Go Dogs.